Welcome to Pieces for My Puzzle. I'm your host, Nikki Ship, and I'm excited to be sharing with you my life with a son on the spectrum. This podcast is for anyone who is looking for quick tips and perspective, but most of all, for hope and inspiration. So sit back, relax, and let's put the pieces together. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Pieces for My Puzzle. I'm your host, Nikki Ship. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. Last week, we talked about autism and humor, so hopefully you got some insight and some great quick tips and maybe learned how to get a few laughs out of your kiddo, and it invokes some more laughter in your home. This week, we're going to talk about actually nutrition in the world of vitamins. And let me just start off by saying that I'm actually really excited to be talking about this. I actually have a background in nutrition, and I did seek a degree in it, and I'm really happy that I did. I did it because I love the science of nutrition in and of itself, but I'm really grateful now that I did go back to school for this because it really has helped me to find the best supplements for me and for my family. And I think everyone should have this information on things to look for when you're buying a supplement. So I'm not necessarily going to recommend any specific supplements to you today, but I think that this is going to give you some insight and quick tips on what to look for on the labels when you're trying to find appropriate supplements for you and your family. So this won't only just apply for your kiddos on the spectrum, but I think it'll be helpful for you too as an individual. In our country, our food quality, it's no denying that our food quality has been highly questioned here in our country, and it has declined over the years. And so why is American food so unhealthy is oftentimes a question that I do get asked. And it's not just that Americans eat too much, which we tend to often do, right? But it also has to do with the quality of the food. The fats, the sugars, the salts, and even ultra-processed foods now have become integrated into our daily lives. These are things when I was growing up as a kid, they were sought out more as a treat, but now they are daily foods that have been incorporated into our diets. And so our food quality in general has just declined over the years in this country. Personally, I feel that it's important for every person to take a good multivitamin daily supplement to ensure that they're getting the nutrition that they need for their bodies. There's nothing wrong with supplementation when you use it properly and you know what to look for. When you look at daily nutritional guidelines for one person, it really is hard to get what we call the RDA, the recommended daily allowance. It's really hard to get your RDA in one day. If you had to nutritionally try to intake that in one day, it's a lot of food, and it's also a lot of specific types of food to get that type of nutrition. It's not impossible, but with the way that our lives are today and how busy we are, it is hard to get in that proper nutrition. So I always challenge people to consider some sort of supplementation to help them get their RDA in. Even if your diet is sound and you can acquire that RDA over a 2 to 3 day time span, which I know sounds a little bit confusing, you're still on the right track. And when I say that, it's just because it's hard to intake that amount of food to hit your recommended daily allowance of what you need, what your body physically needs. So I always feel, like I said, supplementation is not a bad thing when you use it properly and you know what to look for. Here's a couple things to understand. In the United States here, the FDA regulates dietary supplements and their labels, and there's actually an act that was put out in 1994 called the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, or DSHEA, and that is actually an FDA regulation that dietary supplements and their labels have to be regulated. It's important to note that dietary supplements are held to a much less rigorous standard than pharmaceutical drugs. Okay, it's not the same standard. It's less rigorous. And the FDA does not review dietary supplement products for safety or effectiveness before they are available to purchase for consumers. So that is also something to understand. And I'll say that again. The FDA does not review dietary supplement products for safety or effectiveness before they are available for purchase by consumers. Instead, they actually leave that to manufacturers being responsible for ensuring that their products are safe to use before they're marketed. So it's actually goes to the manufacturer. It's not actually something that's overlooked by the FDA. Now, there's regulations in place that those standards still have to be met in order to produce those supplements, but the FDA does not review the dietary supplement prior to purchase by consumers. Okay. Manufacturers are also required to produce supplements in accordance with what they call good manufacturing practices, or GMP is oftentimes something, the way that we'll refer to it is a GMP product. Manufacturers are responsible for that, and that does tie in with the FDA regulation. So it's not necessarily that the FDA is monitoring the safety or effectiveness, but the manufacturer is, and GMP is one of those processes. GMP is a registration program and a set of standards enforced by the FDA. The program provides independent audits for manufacturers and distributors of various products, including food, beverages, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, and supplements. Supplements are included in that. Products displaying a GMP seal confirm that the manufacturer complies with all standards, procedures, and documentation regarding its identity, strength, purity, and other types of guidelines that fall within those. So identity, strength, and purity are the main ones, but there's subcategories of those that they fall into under that good manufacturing practice. There are fake GMP labels, and I do want to express this to people, that there are fake GMP labels that can be put on the products. And so it's important for you to do your homework and read up on the supplements that you're taking, the company producing them, and verify that it is in fact a verified GMP certification. The company, you must look also to the company to make sure that it is in fact true of a GMP certification. I'll get more to you back on that in just a bit in the show, but I do have some links on where you can cross-check to make sure that those products are certified correctly and accurately, which I'll mention here in just a few minutes. There's also what we call NSF or UL labels. NSF stands for National Sanitation Foundation. UL stands for upper limit. These types of labels are actually offered by a third party. They offered verified safety and sanitation of all parts of the food industry. So it's not just for supplements. It does encompass all parts of the food industry. Only FDA-approved raw materials can be used within the guidelines of NSF. Okay. This is not always shown on the labels, though, and there's a reason why. So even if a quality brand manufactures with a factory that is certified by NSF, or UL, or both, the brand will not be able to use the NSF or UL icons on the label, on their products, or on their website. And the reason is because of the cost. The cost to the brand is anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 per lot just to be able to put that seal or that label, or that identifying icon on their label. So it's very costly. So just because you don't see NSF or UL on that actual bottle itself does not mean that it does not have that certification. That's something that you might need to cross-check. The other benefit to an NSF or UL certification is that they also test herbs, they test botanicals, amino acids, other specific types of extracts, and even sports supplements. So the benefit to having that NSF or seeing if a product is NSF certified is also they have an expansion of not just your basic nutritional supplements, but also herbs and botanicals and amino acids, things like that. USP verified is also another verified seal. And the verified mark means that the supplement has been independently tested to confirm that that product does meet a USP quality standard, which is kind of ties into that other certification. So you can see why this is a little confusing. So a USP verified is actually going to tie into that FDA regulation that the efficacy and accuracy of that product is in fact true of what's in that bottle. Contains the ingredient listed on the label in the declared strength and amounts. It does verify that it is true and accurate of what's in the bottle. Does not contain harmful levels of specified contaminants that might be harmful to humans, such as heavy metals and pesticides. So it will verify that the product does not contain those things. It complies with the FDA good manufacturing practices. Like I said, they kind of tie into each other. It complies with the FDA good manufacturing practices using sanitary and well-controlled processes. So that's something to also be aware of. I really like the USP Verified because it is the most widely recognized third-party verifier here in the United States. It also does verify that the product will break down and dissolve within a specified amount of time, so the dietary ingredients can be released and absorbed by the body, which is really important because if you do not have a product that's USP verified and that has not been verified, you don't know also how that's going to break down in your body because it hasn't been tested as such. That's also very important to understand and recognize. So I do look for products that have the GMP and USP verified on their labels. If you go to quality-supplements.org, it's actually a supplement finder, which I will post this link in the show notes, but it's a supplement finder that you can refer to. It's a great resource. Quality-supplements.org. It is a great resource to look and see where these supplements are verified and if they are in fact true and verified. So if you have some supplements maybe right now in your cabinet and you're curious about them, you can always cross-check those supplements that you currently have on this supplement finder. Couple more quick tips. Do not rely on product labeling that says things like organic, natural, or whole foods. That's actually a marketing gimmick. And I always tell people to please not buy into that because that's not, some of these words or verbiage don't actually have a bearing by themselves, validation of the product by themselves. Products with organic on the label must be grown and produced without certain chemicals, but that doesn't guarantee that the dosage or purity of the supplement's key ingredients is actually there. Okay. The term natural actually has no official FDA meaning. So if it says all natural, that doesn't mean anything in terms of FDA regulation or the potency of the product itself. And even if a pill contains real fruits and vegetables, so products that are labeled whole foods, even if it does contain real fruits and vegetables in it, they aren't really substitutes for the real thing. So to say whole foods, it's inaccurate. There are other common third-party certification programs for dietary supplements that you might want to look for. So USDA organic is one of them. That is actually an organic testing that is true and rigorous testing to show that if the organic product is in fact true and accurate in that bottle. So you want to look for USDA organic. There's also certified gluten-free. That is also certification. Non-GMO project verified. If you are looking for non-GMO products, you want to make sure that it says non-GMO project verified on the label. And certified vegan. So if you're looking for more vegan-based products, you want to make sure that it has the certified vegan label icon on that label. These are other common third-party certification programs that you can look for. So I just wanted to make mention of those very briefly as well. The Consumer Healthcare Products Association actually has a great resource as well, and I will post this link as well in the show notes. But they have a great resource library as well if you're trying to cross-check some of these supplements or look for specific things. It's a really great library where you can look up some of these supplements to see if in fact they are good supplements. And I think that that's what's confusing for a lot of people in the nutrition world is nutrition's kind of confusing, especially if you're just trying to go find a basic supplement. I mean, which one do you pick? How do you know which one is good or which one's not good? I always joke around that in this country, we have some of the most expensive urine in this country because of the amount of supplements that we take. But it's not just intaking of supplements, it's the quality of the supplement. So I encourage you guys to do your homework and look up some of these links that I'll post in the show notes. Look up some of the supplements that you guys currently are taking and see if they actually are verified products. Most of all, please work with your healthcare provider or practitioner, a nutritionist, or even a registered dietitian if you have questions about nutrition and maybe trying to find the right supplement for you and your family. Feel free to also reach out to your healthcare practitioners as well. I hope you found this helpful and you're able to take some of these golden nuggets and use them and put them to good use and make you happier and healthier in your home. This concludes our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening in. If you have questions, comments, or even a show topic that you would like to hear about, please feel free to send me an email at info@piecesformypuzzle.com. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. If you like what you're hearing, please spread the word to inspire others and feel free to give us a good rating on your preferred podcast platform of choice. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, keep working on your puzzle and remember, you don't have to have it all solved in a day. Take care.